Good evening and welcome to week one of Friday Night Blitz on Livestream STL. We are live from Hillsboro High School, home to the 2024 Class 4 Missouri State runner-up Hillsboro Hawks. Our matchup tonight is between the MICDS Rams and the Hillsboro Hawks.
So we're kind of familiar with playing them in that jamboree, even though it's a little, obviously not a game format. They're big up front, so we got to be able to handle their size and not let them, kind of dictate early on and lean on us. So, I like our speed on defense and our quickness. And I told our kids, I said, this week our ability to run is going to be extremely important.
Inside the Bill Henderson press box. Here's snap underneath. That's Gould. He's being chased. He's heading to the pylon. Give him 6. Brian Gould. Here's a reverse inside handoff. That's going to be number 12. That is Brian Gould. Once again, he's going to stick it in. Give him 6. Low snap, fire drill. Gould's going to grab that. He's going to pick it up, shovel pass, and that's going to go underhanded to Weaver for a touchdown. So Gould is going to get a 15-yard underhand TD pass. 8. Try to get him off sides. Didn't happen. Snap back right into the gut. He's going to spread out. He's going to sprint to the end zone. Give him 6. 11-yard TD run by Brown. Points on the board to bring this into a one-possession ball game after being down 21-0 to start. Here's Brown. He gets the snap. Going to fake to the outside. Spins out a 1. Goes in for the touchdown. Give him 6. 1-yard TD run for Preston Brown. That is TD number 2.
Well, good Tuesday evening to everyone, and welcome to Upon Further Review. Ray Halbrook from Livestream STL Media here. Hope you're having a great day, and my, did we have a great first week. Before we get things started here, this is Upon Further Review. We will recap this past week's schedule and elaborate. We'll give away a player of the week and also give some honorable mentions as well. But before I get things started, I'm going to bring in one of our friends here, Mr. Matt Bates. Jeff Whitener not with us right now. We're having some technicalities, but Matt Bates, how you doing, my friend?
Doing well. Great to be on another season of UFR, and no pun intended, ready to kick things off.
We are, and before we kind of get things started with all of the schedules, you'll see the schedules going around here as well. Probably not all of these are updated quite yet, but we'll have these updated. I like running tickers because tickers are always fun there, Matt. But
yeah,
let's talk a little bit on our two particular games, and in general, there were probably 4 or 5 games throughout this, all of our schedules in our area here that basically got shortened due to lightning or, just wasn't able to continue because of the storms or whatnot coming through.
This was the craziest thing, right? That, I had talked to my mom and dad live in Peevely. They didn't get nearly the rain as I was making my way home from the Hillsboro game, cutting through even from Horine to the back part of Peevely where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were like, we barely got anything. I'm driving home and it's dumping buckets. I'm
right.
lighting up what, and so to hear that, Festus, they had, issues as well. And then even as far out as the Fredericktown Chaffee game.
Right.
So, Mother Nature reared her ugly head at about the 5:50 mark in the third quarter of our game at Hillsboro. We had the heat lightning going, which, as far as whether it's person safety or whether it's player safety, the little heat lightning that we had wasn't really much of a deal, but the fact that that it kept happening in spurts, the refs finally had to call it at the 5:50 mark in the third quarter. We were taking I guess it was like an imposed water break at around that between the 5-6 minute mark. And as we went to break, we came back, and then they were ushering people off, saying that we were going to be in that weather delay. Yeah. And that was probably around 8:45 p.m. And then literally up until 10 o'clock, 10:15, there was maybe some banter in the press box about, like what the options are, what's going to happen, this, that. And, as the concession stands closing up, Rams coaches are coming down. We were like, has anything been said? Because even up in the press box, the PA announcer didn't have any updates or anything. And they came down and they were like, yeah, we had a weather delayed victory, shortened win. We won this 21-14. And, and thank you guys for the hospitality. And off we went. And that's what we thought happened. And
Right.
then whenever, I had finally gotten home and was able to catch, our post game show that you were hosting, you had gotten an update that it was going to be continued. And so, we were all left in the dark. But as far as the game went, I mean, it was the first three possessions for Hillsborough. It was penalty after penalty after penalty. The false starts. I guess you could call it the week one jitters, what have you. But MICDS just reared their ugly head and imposed their will on that Hillsborough offense. Now, to their credit, on Hillsborough's side, talking to Coach Saharsky, he had a couple injuries. I think one was a key loss to Lossman. So they had to take Bacher from left tackle. They moved him to center. But I mean, even, Preston, I mean, I think you're going to see there's going to be some growing pains not having Saharsky and his brother to throw to. That now,
Right.
as Caps and I, we were talking, was, your Keaton Pipkins and your Aiden Rollins, you're talking guys that are under 6 foot tall. And now these are having to be primary receivers for Preston that, how long is that going to take to get acclimated when, he'd been throwing to his brother and Chase for the last, 3.5, 4 years. So,
Yeah, exactly.
but real quick, MICDS, Brian Gould, at least right now, if the game is to be continued, 12 rushes, 101 yards, 2 TDs. And for those that have access to the stats, you saw that he was 1 for 1 passing, 8 yards and a touchdown. That came as he's the holder on their field goal that they were going to try. There's a botch snap. They go to a fire drill. He breaks out, rolls out, and he underhands, throws a softball pitch in the end zone to Weaver. And so it turned into an 8-yard underhand TD pass. But that seemed to be the way it was going all night for Hillsborough. They finally, were able to break out, put some points on the board. But again, I think it just remains to be seen how this is going to be handled from here on out. Because as of right now, we're still told that it's in limbo, even though others still say that MICDS got the win. So I'll defer it back to you and what other info we have, Rick.
We will stay tuned on that one because there's a lot of different things swirling around. We've been getting texts and trying to get information as best as we can. So we don't want to speculate until Mission makes the final ruling on that. So that was how that will end up. Welcome to Livestream STL's version of Friday Night Blitz. We are live from Herculaneum High School, home of the Herculaneum Black Hats in the brand new field here. They're going to be taking on the Windsor Owls, and we're going to get things started right away. Drake Beekman, Ray Halbrook here.
Man in motion, Mattingly. Reeves takes the snap. He rolls out to the near side to pass. He goes downfield looking for his receiver, and that is caught. Flag on the play. But before we get the flag, number 7, Chase Lubert with the catch and with the touchdown to give the Black Cats, for the moment, the lead.
Well, how about that?
Mattingly in a tight end-ish position to his left. Takes the snap. Hands it off to Bryce. No, he's going to keep it himself, and he's going to dance his way into the end zone without being touched. 6 more points for the Black Cats. We have 13-0 ball game. Another RPO play, the run-pass option. Tight end to the left, single back behind Patterson, who is under center. That is Wilson on the near side. Line gets set. Hand off to Robbins. No, it's a fake. Patterson's going to keep it to himself, and he's going to trot all the way into the end zone for a touchdown for the Windsor Owls. Their first points of the evening. 14-6 now. Herculaneum Black Cats still on top, but after giving up 6 points on the opening drive here in the second half, back to his left. Takes a snap, fakes the handoff to Bryce, who is thankfully back in the game. But Reeves takes it himself, breaks through a tackle, and he's going to find his way into the end zone. What a play by Keaton Reeves. Fakes the handoff to his back, takes it right up the middle for the third play in a row, breaks a couple of tackles, does a nice spin move to boot, and finds his way into the end zone. 6 more points on the board for the Herculaneum Black Cats to extend the lead. 2 backs up top for the Owls. One back. Patterson under center takes the snap, hands it off to Robbins, and he's going to walk into the end zone untouched. Touchdown, Windsor Owls, cutting into the lead again. 21-14 now your score with 8:05 to go. Line gets ready. Man in motion. Handoff to Robbins. He fights through, and he gets the touchdown. Touchdown, Windsor Owls, with exactly 1 second left. For the first time of this ball game, the Windsor Owls are going to take the lead, and they're going to do so with exactly 1 second to go. Here's the kick, and it's a squib up the middle. That's going to be caught by number 7. That's Lubert. He is going to get tackled at the 40-yard line. This ball game is over. The Windsor Owls were trailing this ball game for a grand total of 59 minutes and 59 seconds. But at the last second, they are able to fight and score a touchdown to take the lead and start the season off 1-0. What a win by Coach Freeman and his boys to get the season underway. And tragedy, heartbreaking loss by the Herculaneum Black Cats.
We'll jump over here real quick. I'm going to go through the scheduled results here real fast, and then we're going to jump back here on the Herky game. But obviously, Windsor 22, Herculaneum 21, MICDS 21, Hillsboro 14, either in the third quarter or a final there. Festus was also a game-shortened game there, but that is a final 20-6 over Rolla. Freeburg drops to DeSoto 21-13. DeSoto gets the first win of the season. Congrats to the DeSoto Dragons there. North County, great game over there, 24-17 over Farmington. Grandview, another great win on week 1 there, 21-2 over Chaffee. Perryville, 28, Fredericktown, 14. St. Vincent puts a whopping on St. Genevieve there, 53-0. Bayless, 44, Dupo, 12. Cuba, 33, Lynn, nothing. Crystal City drops to Sykeston, 29-18. Caruthersville victorious over the St. Pius X Lancers, 41-20. Francis Howell drops to Eureka, 26-7. Fox, 34, Melville 6. Moline and Summit, 41-40. That was a close one. Sackman, 40. Parkway West, 14. Northwest, 14. Sullivan, 12. Good win for the Northwest Lions. Lindbergh, 24. Oakville, I need how to spell there again. That should be an E on the end there. 24-21. And Jefferson, 33, Priory, 12. From a come-from-behind win, by the way, by the Jefferson Blue Jays. And we're going to start here with the Herculaneum game that Drake, Mr. Beekman, the Beak, had the call on. And I'd love to get his call on it because he was really excited by the end of the game. The unfortunate part for me was I had to leave right at the beginning of the fourth quarter, I guess it was, and that's when Herculaneum last I saw had the lead, and they kind of let that get away from them that entire fourth quarter. I believe they were up 21 to at least 15 or 16 or something like that, and unable to hold on to that. Lost on the last play of the game with 1 second to go.
The new turf over at Herky
Yeah.
had a ribbon cutting, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the pomp and circumstance with that. And
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, the last that we had heard over there at Hillsboro, it was 21-8. And, Caps and I, we were like, Herky's got this thing locked up. But the longer it went, we never seen Herky put any more points up. Was
right.
that Did Lee Freeman and the Owls make some adjustments, do you think? Or was
adjustments
not able to, or did they take the foot off the gas?
Might have been a little bit of both. I snicker because I was on my way out and I caught Clint Freeman, the superintendent over Herculaneum. I said, who are you rooting for? And he goes, well, I'm rooting for my brother any day but today because he's playing my school. But he's just like, I wish him the best the rest of the season. He's like, there was probably 5 or 6 minutes by the time I got out of there, he said, we've got about 6 minutes left. And I'll tell you then who I'm rooting for. But, it was a great scheme and plan put together by Coach Boss the entire game. But you've got to always keep Lee Freeman and the adjustments that he makes in the second half always a factor. And here's the factor here. 22 rushes for 107 yards from Landon Robbins. Logan Wilson, 12 rushes and 85 yards. And I believe between the both of them, they got most of those yards in the second half. So that was, to me, was the big difference in the game. Herky defense looked stellar the first half, and then all of a sudden, you got to adjust to the adjustments, and that just didn't happen. And I think that was the difference in the game. So
You look at the game that Luke Bryce had and also Keaton Reeves. I've got Reeves and Bryce. They combined for 130 yards on 26 carries. As a team, it looks like Herky had just a little over 200 total yards, but that was
right.
178 rushing to 37 passing. And I think as you look at some of these stats down through Jefferson County, the passing is just, if you could find one team that can air the ball out and have
Right.
a passing attack, could really shake things up. But you look, Luke Bryce, 16 combined tackles.
Yeah.
Great job on the other side of the ball as well too.
Right. Bryce surprised me with the way he slings the ball, and he doesn't have a problem with throwing that ball 40, 50 yards down the way. And to me, I felt like he could have connected with a couple of receivers. Receivers dropped the ball, one in the end zone, so that could have been the big difference in the game as well. So, he's got the goods. It's just a matter now of like, okay, let's go back and take a look at the game film, see what we can work on there, and just small little tweaks. And they look pretty strong this year for the Black Cats. So let's move on here real quick, and I'll just let you pick games from here on out that might, just kind of tickle your fancy here. But go right ahead. I'll let you pick this next one.
So on the Thursday games, you got to tip your hat to Coach Rush Schmidt and also Coach Neerling over at Northwest picking up wins number one, which, as I was mentioning during the broadcast on Friday, that, DeSoto Northwest week one have as many wins as what they had collectively last year.
Right.
So, and it was funny. Well, I guess more ironic. The interviews that you had done for the preseason there, where both coaches said the same message. Like basically, all we can do is get better.
Yeah.
How do we improve on last year? Well, in week one, you've already checked off the box of either having as many or more wins than we did last year. So week one, you're already, knocking off some of your goals for the season already. So great job by DeSoto. They were tooth and nail with Freeburg, the little team from over in Illinois. They were up 7-6 at half, 14-6 after three. But you look at the Freeburg rushing, 41 rushes, 269 yards. So, again, if teams had a passing game, because that's what you're going to see week after week is pound the ground, run the rock, and just see if you can stop them. And DeSoto, and I'll be getting to Perryville in just a minute because I'll be on the call for that game coming up next week. So it's going to be interesting to see what adjustments DeSoto makes after the tough game against Freeburg. The Northwest Illinois or Sullivan game, 14-12. Again, another tooth and nail game. Sullivan was up 12-0 at the half, and Northwest was able to sneak out 14 points in the second half to come away with the win. But it shows you, either I guess on one sense, the inability of being able to convert PATs, or if you go for two all the time and get stopped, though those two extra PATs cause Sullivan to not either be tied or, in this case, lose the game to Northwest. The other Thursday game, let's look at Eureka Francis Howell. You talk about a nail biter. Man, this thing was, again, the Wildcats. Eureka was up 9-0 at half, had the touchdown and a safety, but they reel off 14 points in the fourth quarter. And I got to tell you right now, yes, Casey Hobelman, great day at the office, 17-23, 125 in a TD. Trevor Kodak had two Kodak moments, 24 carries, 139 yards. But three people I want to talk about just real quick. Number 75, offensive lineman, 6'8" monster Jack Lang, I believe is a Mizzou commitment. I'm telling you right now, we saw this kid last year as well too, and he's just a beast up front. Number one, a defensive end, his name's Blake Ashby. The highlight package that I saw from this game, he spent more time in the backfield disrupting the Francis Howell offense than I care to even keep commenting on. But it seemed like every play, number one from Eureka, Blake Ashby, was back in the backfield disrupting everything. And an outside linebacker, number 5, Jacob Travis, one-on-one tackling is almost a lost art in the high school level. And I got to tell you right now, the swing passes passes out in the flat that Francis Howell was making. Jacob Travis had at least 4 tackles on one-on-one where, wide receiver slips out of something. And, normally you've got daylight and green pasture ahead of you, but tip to the cap to Jacob Travis on the game he had with the four plus tackles because a slip and slide missed grab and it was green light the other way. For me, I think really the not really the game of the week, but the shocker of the week was the Crystal City Sikeston game.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say the same thing.
If you would have set the over under and told me that Crystal City was only going to lose this game by 11 points, I got nothing but high marks for a team of 14 to make about a 2.5 hour bus ride to take on darn near a class 5 level, but a class 4 Sikeston team that, again, you're talking big boys, 14 kids making a trip down, and they only lose by 11 to a Sikeston Bulldog team that, that they're facing, your Capes, your Jacksons. This was some big boy football that, I thought this was going to be just a hold on, and whatever the score is, it is.
Yeah.
So if it's 70-0 in the third quarter, so be it.
Yeah.
But it ends up 29-18, and I was stunned. I was shocked. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the Crystal City program. Great job in a week 1 game that I am sure your gas tank got dipped into really deep. So great job against a really much higher class team and a very competitive effort.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I was trying to pull up here the score. I think the score at halftime, Crystal was ahead, and so they were leading the entire first half, if I remember right.
I thought so too, but I didn't want to misspeak on that. But
Right.
yeah, I knew it was at one point it was like that close.
Yeah.
So yeah, that definitely had my interest peaked on that.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm sure, we were able to catch up with Coach Adam Sims here a little bit. It was so funny. He's outside the bus. This is going to be really, really great going into the weeks ahead here. By the way, coaches, we don't care if you're right outside the bus as long as we can hear you. We'll have you on, and we'd just love to catch up with you and get your thoughts after the game. So definitely call in and dial in for the end of the link, and we'll definitely accommodate you. But I
was going to say, Ray, kudos and thanks to the coaches that did call in, because the next one is going to be Coach Bear from over at Seckman. They defeated Parkway West 40-14. This was just a solid day. As I think Coach Bear, it even mentioned Brady Ambrose, 21 carries,
big,
250 yards as a team, 434 yards on the ground on 44 carries. I mean, the simple herky math on that, you're getting almost 10 yards a pop.
Yeah.
But when you go back to the passing, 3 of 5 for 75. But when you're putting 400 plus on the ground, I mean, the passing game, it really, to me, that's just a thing to break up the monotony, to
Right.
just put another wrinkle in there. 2 TDs each from Ben Lewis, Brady Ambrose, Mason Fowler. But you look on the D in the defense this year is Dylan Lappy, 10 tackles. Parkway West, Coach Bear, I'm sure, is going to look at the tape at the almost 300 yards passing that got racked up on him and how to account for that. But like I said, a lot of these schools don't do a lot of passing that we see. So passing defense, can sometimes maybe catch you off guard that, when you're so run heavy, wrinkles you got to work on. But again, Coach Bear called in, great to get his thoughts. And, and some of these coaches, Ray, as we were mentioning, that, back in the day on a call-in show, you could be either on the bus at your house, but on maybe like a radio medium, I don't have to be like my face is on
right.
TV or whatever. And these coaches now, I mean, it might be a new wrinkle where,
Right.
Having Coach Bear do like a live post-game interview where, we're just going to have to take them for what they are. But we got to tell the coaches, call in, let us know your thoughts on the game, because it might be the only chance for the whole week we get you. Right. And also, let us know, was there a play of the game, a player of the game, something that, because we try to cover as many as we can, but we're not there to see it. And that's why we rely on the coaches to provide that other intel for us to help us make I don't want to say our jobs, but to let people know what happened this week a little smoother than as opposed to, I'm just looking at numbers on a piece of paper and this is what I'm going to try to dissect. So anytime the coaches can help us out, that's greatly appreciated.
Yeah. We want to ask the the questions that nobody else asks sometimes too. Just like, what's your gut feeling on some things? And, it doesn't have to be super deep. It just needs to be something that's, we're looking for more genuine things than just, your other outlets ask those type of questions that are just, generic questions. And so we want to be able to, highlight you in a different way. So let's just put it that way. So that's the plan here moving forward. We had a great turnout. I mean, we had, last I looked, there were 2,500 viewers for the show, which I was extremely happy about. And I haven't even checked. That was just on Facebook. So that wasn't even on the other outlets. So thanks for being a part of that.
Just remind people, Ray, we're the only source for this.
Mm-hmm.
We are I don't want to say the exclusive coverage, but there's nobody else
not doing post game anymore.
Post game show together anymore. So if you want the local Nuggets, this is where you're going to have to make the stop at after the games.
Exactly. Let's move on. Any other games here you want to highlight here real quick?
I mean, again, I think it might be, with the DeSoto Perryville game coming up, Perryville doubling up Fredericktown 28-14. The team rush of 40 carries, 299 yards. This Barrett Wheeler kid with 20 carries for 109. I mean, yeah, he had 50% of the carries, accounted for about a third of the total yards. But again, it's one of those things where you see his numbers on paper, but seeing the kid in person, this kid's put together. And he's just a big wrecking ball that you got to account for and be ready to stop. Cade Lucky, 5 rushes, 91 yards. But again, you look at his passing for the game, 2 of 5 for 10 yards. So again, another team where if you could put the ball in the air, just make contact with a receiver here and there, that other wrinkle you add can be something that they're going to have to account for. The Grandview Chaffee game, Grandview 21-2. The game was called in the third quarter, but Tucker Reinhardt, 6 tackles, Wyatt Kime, 10 tackles. Team rushing, you look at the 155 yards that was put up, but Wyatt Kime, Brendan Martin, they combined 15 carries for 112, and they sealed the deal for Grandview in that weather-shortened game. But I think to finish up this week's games, the Saturday 10 a.m. game, Jefferson and Prairie. I mean, it's again, I think as I had even mentioned before, it's one thing to play those Saturday games because they're just so odd in and of itself but then to have it move back to 10 a.m., your rhythm, like everything is just even more out of whack than what it needs to be. And I mean, it would have been one thing if it had been 10 a.m. at a home game where it's in your backyard, but to have to make a bus ride and all this other stuff. I want to say that probably this is one of these games where probably halftime was the best thing to happen to Jefferson, where with Prairie up only 13-7 at the half, you make some adjustments, you get everybody to just halftime just resets everything, and you make those adjustments because right out of the hop, Landon Weiss, 68-yard run 1 minute into the third quarter.
Right.
4 minutes later, Carson Hafner, 12-yard run. 2.5 minutes later, Cooper Frisk, 40-yard run, and then Weiss adds another TD in the fourth quarter to seal it. But that third quarter, right out of the break, was gut punch, kidney, and then one right to the kisser, and down goes Prairie.
Yeah.
And great job by Coach Atley and the Blue Jays, 33-16. So, great job, and what a way to end week one.
It was a tale of two halves here. It's 13-7 the first half for Prairie and 26-3 for Jefferson in the second half. So again, Coach Atley taking a Coach Freeman approach at adjustments and getting the job done there. So yeah, big numbers too, and we might have at least a honorable mention out of this particular game as well. So you have to stay tuned for that. But yeah, I mean, Jefferson kind of picking up where they left off last season. They weren't, they were a little worried about it. They talked to me about that during the preseason. Just, we've got a lot of different plug and play, different positions that we're kind of, concerned about, but it doesn't look like, especially going up against a team like Prairie, that's been that big of an issue. So kudos to the Jefferson Blue Jays. After Friday Night Blitz, check out the Friday Night Blitz postgame at 10 p.m. Our Friday Night Blitz announcers will catch up with coaches from around the area and grab some post-game interviews to cap off another Friday night football frenzy. That's the Friday Night Blitz post-game show at 10 p.m. on Livestream STL. Hey, it is now time for our Player of the Week, and it's the UFR Player of the Week. And it's not a player. It's actually a parent this time around on behalf of a player that used to be part of our circuit that we covered here. I've got Don Brown on the line. Don, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Ray?
Hey, I'm doing great. The reason why we picked Peyton, because you don't just see a true freshman come out of high school and put up the numbers that he put up over at SEMO. So this is not high school related, but it is parent and it is local related here to Hillsboro. But Peyton Brown, 3 touchdowns on the week last week. I believe that was who they were playing our Alabama, right?
Yeah, Northern Alabama.
Northern Alabama, and what an amazing just showing for first game. And I know you were out there for that particular game. I just want you to give me, a minute or so of your time to tell me what the atmosphere was like out there. What was it like to have your kiddo brand new to college football somewhat walk in and just act like he owned the place?
Yeah, the atmosphere was like any other regular football game, really. We were excited to go down there and watch him, play. We thought he would play some, wasn't sure how much, but just, when he got in there, have a chance to perform. And when he got, he's on some special teams already, but he got his first carry, so we're excited, that happens. And then they take him out, I remember, and then there was another play, and I think we turned it over on downs or something, or had punted it. Either way, it was just kind of cool just to watch him, because he left school early, and that was his goal is to play as a freshman, and then he's in there at that very first game and playing, and it was pretty cool. We were excited, to say the least.
Now, I'm sure you were able to talk to him afterwards and whatnot. What was that conversation like?
Just went down and gave him a big hug, and just really excited for him.
Yeah,
it was cool. It was cool. Yeah, he was pretty reserved like he is. He's usually real low key, and but he was happy. He was he was happy.
Was he surprised at the performance, number one? But I know I talked to you a little bit earlier this week, and we were talking about him being maybe more of a number 2, number 3 back, but he got a lot of the carries for that particular game and the most success.
If you were to ask him, I don't know that he would say he was surprised, because that's his expectations all the time for himself, is to go out and give it his all, and he was if anything, he gets more bummed and harder on himself when he doesn't have success. So
right.
It's a balancing act, but he wasn't surprised. He's always said he could do that. It's just a matter of getting an opportunity to show what he can do. And yeah, so he's back at it. And, we did talk, if you like after the game, being a dad and being that coach still, you're like, hey, a couple things here and there, that you could work on or whatever, and humble yourself at the same time. Again, not worried about that, yeah. But probably the, the biggest surprise was just to come out, like I said, and we didn't hear any of the play-by-play stuff from the TV because we were at the game.
Yeah. Final question, and we'll let you go here, Don. What's it like having to balance your work, your coaching, your dad being the dad, and then you've got 2 players, one in college and one about ready to start college here. How do you have any time in the day to do anything else?
There's a few hours left in the day to get some other things in. So I try to get up and train in the mornings before I get started. But no, it takes a little planning. We got a big calendar there on the peninsula there in the kitchen that has everything that's on there, from Portland's events to Preston to Peyton, and where we got to be, and kind of use that to just to keep us somewhat straight and figure out. But it's a good blessing. It's not yeah, I mean, couldn't have it any other way. Really proud of all three of them and what they're doing or whatever success wise. Peyton, Preston's gonna hopefully follow them up, do the same. They're going to North Dakota State, and then we're really gonna be stretched. So it turn into divide and conquer or rock paper scissors. One of the two. So.
I can understand that. Well, man, we appreciate catching up with you, and I'm sure you're proud pops here, and good luck this season here for the Hillsboro Hawks, and also to Peyton over at SEMO.
No, I appreciate you allowing me to come on here, and thank you for those well wishes. But yeah, it'll be good. It'll be fun, and we'll just give it our best and go at it. So I am not the player of the week. We'll say I'm the parent of the
parent of the week. You are the parent of the week.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Our parent of
Thanks,
the week.
Ray.
Yeah, thank you, Don Brown from Hillsboro Hawks. It is now time for our week 2 schedule. We've got a great group of docket of schools or teams that's coming up here. We have the triple header this week. Last week we only had two games. We got the triple header. We've never done a triple header during the regular season. We did during the playoffs at the end of last season and was semi-successful. So we're going to try this again. So our triple header begins here. Fox at Seckman. Matt, you'll be having the game over there at Perryville and DeSoto. And then we're sending BCAP up north to Eureka. Marquette takes on Eureka. So those will be our 3 triple headers there on Livestream STL. Other games are going to look like this. Hillsboro at SLU. Festus at Francis House Central. Windsor at Afton. Herculaneum at Fredericktown. Bayless at Grandview. Jefferson at Park Hill Central. St. Vincent at Valley. Clever is at Cuba. Summit is at Lindbergh, Northwest at Melville, Parkway South at Oakville, and North County at Glenwood. And I've noticed that I left out the Crystal City game. Let me pull that up real quick. Yes, this is live on tape, so I'm going to pull up Crystal City here real quick and find out where they're at, because I know that they had a couple of changes at the last part of the season here. So Crystal City is at they're hosting Louisiana, so they'll be at home against Louisiana.
That's always a tough game.
Yeah,
Religiously, and I think the last 2.5 years that we've been doing this show, that it seems like every week Crystal City plays Louisiana. This is like one of these games. It's like 12-8, or it's something like 21-16. 19-15. It's usually something odd, weird, but it seems to be 4 quarters of just punch in the mouth football. That Crystal City Louisiana game, that gets a little spicy, and I think that's one that I would just circle. Like if you're in the area and you want to see some good high school football, go check out the Louisiana Crystal City game. 2 games right off the hop that outside of our live stream STL feeds. The Hillsboro at SLU and the Festus at Francis Howell Central games, I just have those highlighted as games where if you would have told me those would be at home, I might be able to put a little more money down on the home team winning those games. But with Hillsboro and Festus going on the road to these 2 programs, I just have those highlighted that if you tell me either one of those teams lose, would not be a shocker. And I think that's just because of going into the enemy territory with, again, Hillsboro going to SLU, Festus going to Francis Howell Central. I like the Windsor-Afton matchup. That should be another win for Windsor, as Afton's one of those teams that, if you're looking to get off the schneid, have them on the schedule. That should be win number 2 for Coach Freeman up there. Another one that's jumped out at me is the Jefferson at Park Hills game. Just once again, Jefferson, they do have a number of kids in the program, but when you look at, again, as I say, once you cross the St. Genevieve County line and you make your way south, everything's bigger, faster, stronger, beefier.
Yeah.
The Park Hills Central team is it's just a big Class 4 school that they can roll with the punches, deliver it. So this is going to be another staunch test for Coach Atlee and the Blue Jays. As you know, again, you're going to be facing just a bigger body. Just this was like back in the day whenever Herky would travel to St. John. I'm telling you right now, after we played St. John, you knew you were in a game because every lineman was like 225 plus pounds, and just beating on you every time they ran the ball. Right. So after a while, I mean, either way you're on offense or defense, that'll wear on you. And so I think that'll be just a tough test in regards to toughness for Jefferson and Coach Atlee on that. Northwest at Melville would be interesting to see. I don't know a whole lot about the strength of the Melville program, but it would be nice to see Northwest pull out another victory and go to 2-0. Outside of that, I mean, St. Vincent Valley, that's Perryville area, St. John area, just rock'em sock'em football, and is always a treat if you're in that area as well to catch a Valley home game and a staunch competition between St. Vincent and Valley.
Yeah,
those would be the games I'd have highlighted so far, unless you can't catch our action on live stream STL, Ray.
Yeah, bold prediction from Ray here. Northwest is going to beat Melville. They're going to be 2-0. Another bold prediction. Hillsboro's going to beat SLU. Bold predictions of the day here. And I know I'm going to get hate mail from all of that right now. So, but no, I really think Hillsboro coming out of that game last week, kind of with that little sour taste in their mouth, thinking, man, we should have been able to either finish the job. Hopefully, if they would have gotten back to being able to play, but also, I think their first half they kind of got off to a slow start, and they're not used to that. So it's definitely became a chess match at the second half, and went methodically. And so once that particular thing got put in place, you started seeing Hillsboro start taking control of that MICDS game. But no, I think. Also going over to the Northwest game, I think Melville's a little down right now, and Northwest is trending up. So it wouldn't surprise to see them win 3, 4, 5 games. Really wouldn't surprise this year. The way they looked at camp, took a look at them for quite a while, and they looked sharp. They looked good. So giving you good luck over there, Coach Scott Gerling over there to the Northwest Lions. But so I guess that's all. You got anything else you want to talk about at all here on the schedule? Or are you done?
Well, the one thing that concerns me about the Hillsboro game is that SLU's ability to pass and sling the ball. That the last 2 years, I thought his name was Sansone, and I'm not sure if he's graduated or not. But when you're looking at a guy that's usually in the top 3 of yards passing in the area, that's just something that, once again, that if you're not prepared for a pass defense, it's going to be. It's going to be tough, but I would say that if you see Hillsboro pulling this thing out, that's the thing they're going to have to stop. Would be the SLU passing game, which again is something you just don't see a lot of down here in this area. Yeah,
we saw SLU a couple years ago when they played Seckman. I believe that was in the district championship, and same situation. And so it is a concern there because they'd like to pass a little bit more than norm. And if you don't have good corners, you don't have good passing defense here, that could be a long night. But you're dealing with the Hillsboro Hawks, and I think they've got pretty sound defense, so they should be ready for that. Well, it looks like that's all we have for this week of Week 1. Matt, we appreciate you giving us your insight, and we hope to have Jeff back next week. We apologize about some technical issues being with Jeff and everything, but we'll have him on next week. And again, don't forget this Friday, our three-peat here, our triple play here is Fox at Seckman, Perryville at DeSoto, Marquette at Eureka, and don't forget, we also have the post-game show here, Friday Night Blitz post-game show, 10 o'clock. We hope. Keep your fingers crossed there. 10 o'clock. We'll have that in its entirety. For Ray Halbrook, for Matt Bates, all of us here at Livestream STL, thanks for watching. Upon further review. Thanks for watching today's broadcast. Any unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written consent of Livestream STL is strictly prohibited.